This program is a community education production brought to you by the Bar Association of Montgomery County and the Montgomery County, Maryland Bar Foundation. The program is designed to provide you with general information regarding your rights and obligations under the law. It is not intended as specific legal advice. You should discuss the facts and circumstances of any particular matter with your own attorney and obtain advice specific to your case. The participants are local attorneys who have volunteered their time to bring you this program. We hope you find it informative and beneficial.
Welcome to Law School for the Public. My name is Rini Sandler. I'm a solo practitioner with the law firm of Sandler Law, LLC in Rockville, Maryland. My areas of practice primarily involve criminal and family matters. This show will provide you with important insight into the district court in Montgomery County, Maryland, from two individuals who are directly involved in the court every day. The District Court of Maryland was established in 1971 in the state of Maryland. Over the years, the District Court has seen a tremendous increase in criminal cases involving individuals with substance abuse issues who are in need of treatment. Montgomery County has a drug court program in the Circuit Court, which is a comprehensive voluntary treatment program for adult offenders suffering from drug and alcohol dependence. The goal of the program is to reduce recidivism by providing intensive services and supervision to address substance dependence and criminal thinking. On this show, you will learn how that treatment-based approach will be expanding to eligible offenders in the District Court. I am joined tonight by Assistant State's Attorney Karen Mooney, Deputy Chief of the District Court for the Montgomery County State's Attorney's Office, and Judge Sherry Koch, who will provide us with valuable insight from the bench in the District Court. Karen Mooney graduated from St. John's High School College in Washington, D.C., and graduated from the University of Maryland and William and Mary Law School. Ms. Mooney has been a prosecutor in the Montgomery County State's Attorney's Office since March 2005. Ms. Mooney was recently elevated to serve as the Deputy Chief of the District Court Division. Prior to her position as Deputy Chief, Ms. Mooney handled all aspects of prosecution of criminal cases, ranging from traffic and misdemeanors to drug cases, child abuse, violent crimes, including murder. Ms. Mooney has served as a drug court prosecutor since 2010. Ms. Mooney has attended numerous courses and training and has also taught courses on drug-related topics. Ms. Mooney has participated in numerous community-based programs and committees throughout her career. Judge Sherry Koch is a current judge on the District Court for Montgomery County, having been appointed in January 2017. A Montgomery County native, Judge Koch graduated from Thomas S. Wooten High School in Rockville. She received her undergraduate degree from Brandeis University, where she received a Bachelor of Arts in Politics in 1990. She graduated from the University of Maryland School of Law in 1993. Prior to her appointment to the bench, Judge Koch was an Assistant State's Attorney in the Montgomery County State's Attorney's Office from 1997 to 2017. She was a senior prosecutor in the Special Victims Unit from 2014 to 2017. Judge Koch is an active member of both the Maryland State Bar Associations, Montgomery County Bar Association, and Women's Bar Association. Judge Koch was a former recipient of the SHIELD Award, which stands for SHIELD, Honor, Integrity, Excellence, and Leadership Dedication. It was awarded by the Anti-Defamation League. Welcome to you both to the show. Thank you for being here. You both have extensive resumes, and I'm so happy that you've come to join us on the show tonight. Karen, I want to start with you. Can you tell our viewers, what is drug court?
Drug court is a program that was designed in the Circuit Court to be sort of an alternative sentencing approach. In Montgomery County, it is a post-conviction court, so people have to either plead guilty or be found guilty after a trial. Many of our cases are also violations of probation. So the person is placed on probation and they will go through the pre-release center, they will go through extensive drug treatment, but it's more than just a traditional probation approach would be. most people go through the pre-release center as opposed to facing the extensive prison sentence that they would be looking at. It's for nonviolent addicted offenders who have essentially failed out of treatment many times before. So they are generally people who have a much lengthier criminal history and would be looking at a Department of Corrections sentence. So drug court gives the kind of last option for get the treatment, and if we can combat the addiction, hopefully we can combat the continued criminal behavior.
Judge, you've been on the bench now a couple of years. First of all, is it what you thought it would be?
It is more than I thought it would be.
Tell us what that means.
Well, so as you indicated, I was a state's attorney for about 20 years, which is one form of community service, and being a judge is just sort of further community service, and especially the district court. The district court is really the people's court, and that's where anyone who has any sort of problem, when they think about going to court, that's where they go. And so we really see in district court all different types of people and issues and incidents, and that's what I really like about district court.
What portion of your cases do you think involves drugs and alcohol or any kind of substance-related issues?
Most of the cases that we see in district court are criminal cases, although we do civil cases as well. And I would say the majority of the cases in district court, criminal cases, involve substance, alcohol, and/or drug abuse. The crimes that we see in district court are more of the petty crimes: disorderly conduct, trespass, small thefts, and more likely than not, the individuals who commit those crimes are addicted to some sort of substance.
So how, when you sentence an individual in the district court, when someone comes before you, how do you take into account addiction or need for treatment? What are you looking at? What do you try and do?
So anytime that an individual is sentenced, I look at the individual as an individual and see what they need. And Ms. Mooney talked about probation and drug court. In district court, we have a shorter period of time of probation, and what we're going to try and do is find out a little bit about the individual, see what types of treatment they need, and try and fashion a treatment through probation. The Department of Probation can send an individual to treatment. It is somewhat more limited in what they can do through probation than, say, drug court offers. And that's where drug court came about through the circuit court, because they have a lot more opportunities through drug court than they do through probation. So in district court, we don't have the type of offenders that you see in drug court, and those individuals may not have had as much treatment as an individual who enters drug court has had.
I see. Karen, does traditional probation work, or is a drug court type of sentence or comprehensive plan better for an individual, in your opinion?
I think it really depends on the person and where they're at in life. We have a lot of drug court. The age of our participants ranges from essentially 19 years old and up to probably 65. And some of those 19-year-olds are people who, when we hear their stories, they've been using drugs since they were 13 or 14. And they have gone through the juvenile system, and they've gone through smaller, less stringent drug treatment through that, but they're still using, they're still finding a way to do it, and they're still committing crimes that are involved. So probation, generally, if say it's their first adult conviction, probation would say you can go to a program that's once a week. Where in drug court, they're in treatment groups or individual sessions 3 times a week. They have to go to at least 3 AA or NA meetings a week, and they do urinalysis 3 times a week. And the urinalysis structure is crucial to drug court because people are getting tested for more substances. Their creatinine levels are getting tested to show if they're trying to dilute urines. Mm-hmm. And that's just not something that the Department of Parole and Probation is able to do. So drug court is able to really address things, and if there is a relapse, address it quickly. And that's one of the keys to drug court, is a quick response to any sort of relapse. So if somebody has a positive urine, we know within a week, and it's addressed through treatment and through the structure of the program.
So Judge, if someone were to relapse and they're on probation, they violate their probation potentially. And at that point, is it too late for treatment, or how do you view
It's
addiction?
never too late for treatment. Addiction is a disease. It is a lifelong disease. It is never too late for treatment. And there are many different levels of treatment. You know, when we start in district court, we're starting with probably the lowest level of treatment that they're starting with in probation, what Ms. Mooney said about sort of your once a week type of meeting or once a week type of treatment. And there are so many different levels. They can go to intensive outpatient, then they can go to inpatient. And we have all these options, and Montgomery County itself has many options for our residents. And the court has those options to send individuals to. So it really depends on the individual's needs and what their level of addiction is and what the severity is. And oftentimes it also depends on what the crime is, because certain programs will only take certain individuals.
What is there any type of offense that would not allow someone to participate in drug court, for example?
When drug court first started, there were grants associated with the funding and they could not have any sort of violent crimes in their history. Those grants aren't in place currently, so there is a little bit more leniency, but we do have issues with violent behavior. If somebody is, possessing a firearm, that's not somebody that we want in a more diversionary type of program, just for public safety concerns, especially with the state's attorney's office. Our goal is community safety in general, and that's part of why we participate in drug court, is to help the victims just as much as the defendants in terms of stopping the criminal behavior. So violent crimes would be a barrier. If it's a drug dealer that we can tell is selling for profit, then that would be somebody that we don't want to put in the program, because you're putting them in a program with addicts. And domestic violence cases are generally not something that we consider for drug court. There are few exceptions, but generally domestic violence cases are something that are just too risky for the program as a whole.
Judge, we've talked about what you see in terms of substance abuse and alcohol just generally. What about mental health issues? Do you see an increase in cases involving individuals either with the co-occurrence of substance abuse and mental health, or just with mental health issues, and how do you deal with that as well?
So very often there is a co-occurrence with substance abuse and mental health issues, and actually in the district court we do have a mental health court, and we have judges who are specifically assigned, and the mental health court is similar to the drug court. And so individuals who are committing crimes because they suffer from mental illness, and that is what is causing them to commit the crimes, instead of being punished per se for committing these crimes, they are going into a mental health court, which is a diversionary court much like drug court, in which they come into court every week. They meet with therapists, they have individual therapy and group therapy, they make sure they're medicated, they have housing. And so that is an attempt to keep the individual stable, to make sure that they're not continuing to commit crimes.
So you're seeing mental health and the co-occurrence of substance abuse frequently as well?
Absolutely.
And Karen, so in drug court, how is drug court set up to address also mental health issues?
Yes, depending on the level of the severity of the mental health issues, but if it's something that is at a kind of lower level, then absolutely, and there is a therapist on staff at Outpatient Addiction Services who works with the majority of the drug court clients to make sure that they have the medication that they need, whether it's ADHD medication or anxiety or something like that, but also to make sure that it's medication that is not going to trigger a relapse on something else, because there are certainly plenty of people who take a lot of the ADHD medications or amphetamines, and so plenty of people get high on those amphetamines versus not using it for what it's. So it's definitely monitored, and they address it through drug court as well.
Karen, staying with you, what is the role of the judge in drug court?
Our drug court judges are obviously, they're the final decision makers on anything. It's a team approach. There on the drug court team, there's the public defender's office is present, the state's attorney's office. We have a probation agent specifically assigned to drug court. There is a team of therapists from outpatient addiction services, and there are case managers. Each individual who's participating has a case manager. So if the judge makes the ultimate decision as to whether somebody can be admitted. Everybody weighs in. They're evaluated by our office. They're evaluated by the case management team, and they're evaluated by the treatment team to see if they're appropriate. The judge will make the ultimate decision looking at what everybody does. If there are sanctions to be imposed, the judge makes the ultimate decision on the sanctions. There is a menu of sanctions so that we have uniformity in how people are treated, but the judge can deviate from that if they feel it's necessary and if it's appropriate in any case, because obviously the judge has to look at each case individually. So the judge oversees weekly court sessions. We have court every Thursday, all day long, and the judge is there all day, every Thursday, for whether it's the weekly trackings of people's progress or admissions or sanctions or anything that goes on.
Okay. I'm sure after 2 years on the bench, Judge, you have some pet peeves. Somebody maybe chewing gum in a courtroom.
Chewing gum, that is my number one pet peeve.
And people do,
And
right?
people do, yes.
And I bet you speak out from the bench, right?
Most of the time.
What
Most
else?
of the
What are
time.
some other things that you've seen that people should just know not to do?
I think people should remember that it's a place of respect. There are proper ways to dress. Have your body parts covered. Don't chew gum. Keep your phones put away. Just sort of the general obvious things.
That's good to know. In drug court, is there decorum in drug court?
Absolutely.
And what? Talk about the accountability with others. They hear from each other, right?
People know before we hear as the team, people know what's going on with someone, and there is absolutely accountability among the participants. Whether it's them telling their friend, hey, you have to call the urine line, don't forget to go, or coming to court, they need to wear a collared shirt to court. They are not allowed to wear shorts. If they have a job, we have one participant who does chimney sweeping, and he had to come back to court an extra time because he came in dirty and disgusting from work. But you have to plan ahead. You have to bring your court clothes with you. So there are definitely decorum. There have been people, I would say, over the years that have had to spend the court session in the holding cell because they came dressed inappropriately or were chewing gum or talking during court or something like that.
Is district court going to be the new place for drug court? Is there plans for expansion in the future of sorts?
Not necessarily in district court. We are within the drug court program attempting to, or have started what we're calling an intervention track. It's for district court level cases, but they have to either appeal or jury demand them to circuit court so that they are under the same program. It's all through the Office of Problem Solving Courts, so that they're under the same program, same case managers. But what we're attempting to do is look at repeat offenders for DUIs, for people who are charged with drug possession. Under the Justice Reinvestment Act, the penalties for drug possession went down, and so it provides a way to have less backup time and a little less stringent on the use of the pre-release center. So people are able to go through the program, get the treatment that they need, but not have 20 years hanging over their head.
Judge, with penalties for DUIs, enhanced penalties for subsequent offenders, are you seeing an increase in subsequent offenders in your courtroom?
What do you,
multiple DUIs, more than one, more than two. Do you see that regularly?
The answer is yes. Definitely seeing multiple offenders, 3, 4, some 5 times. And I know drug court especially has several individuals.
What about the use of the interlock? Is that a common practice with regard to stopping or reducing drunk driving?
I don't know what the percentage is, but I know that the courts are ordering that the interlock be put in the cars, even on first offenses. And I think that is certainly helpful.
Sure. Karen, in terms of again, in the future, can drug court accommodate an increase from the district court? Is it set up for volume?
Drug court is slated for 100 participants. We're currently at about 80 to 85.
Okay.
It varies. We just had a graduation, so 5 people moved out, but we'll have a couple admissions in the next couple of weeks. So
Let me ask you something about graduations.
Okay.
I noticed that it's publicized. Why is that?
for a lot of the participants, it's kind of the first graduation they've done. A lot of people go through drug court, and drug court provides not just drug treatment, but jobs. But people are required to or encouraged to get their GED while they're in the program. The classes are provided, and there are even scholarships and funding that are provided for people to get their GED. But for a lot of people, this is really their first graduation. But it's also to celebrate a huge accomplishment of staying clean and sober and making it through what is not an easy program.
Does it work?
I would say yes. Not everybody is perfect. The recidivism rate for drug court participants, we last kind of calculated it in 2016 based on a new conviction for a graduate, and the drug court rate was 31%. The national average on people coming out of state prison is 76%. So if you look at that, 45% of the people didn't go out and commit a crime, and the drug court participants would probably have been coming out of state prison.
Wow.
So,
I mean, that's a tremendous statistic.
right.
Did you want to add something, Judge?
I do. And, you know, most people, when they come to court, aren't coming to court for a positive experience, for the most part.
Sure.
A lot of people are charged with crimes. Some people are victims. Some people have other issues. But for the most part, drug court is a positive experience. And coming to the graduation is a positive experience for everyone. It's a positive experience for the drug court participants. It's a positive experience for the graduates. And it's a positive experience for anyone who attends the drug court graduation. Because what you're seeing is individuals who, for many, many years, spent a life of not just addiction, but a life of crime, and are now, while they still are suffering from the disease of addiction, they've turned their lives around. They are no longer living a life of crime. They have jobs. They are with their families, and they are happy. And it's a completely different relationship with the court system than what a lot of the public thinks about the court system. It doesn't have to be a scary place. Mm-hmm. The court system, through drug court, has made an incredible change in these people's lives.
That's great. And the community benefits.
And the community benefits.
What's interesting about what you both shared tonight is the different pieces that come together, the judiciary, from the state's attorney's office, from the community, the offender, everybody the treatment team, every
right.
piece working together, to address addiction. And it appears to be successful. What other thoughts do you have about the future of drug court, other than what we've talked about tonight?
I think it will be very beneficial for drug court to expand into more things. Obviously, a huge issue in our community right now is opiate and heroin overdoses. The police department tracks the numbers that they respond to. They obviously don't get every call, but if you look at year-to-date numbers, in 2018 there were 40 non-fatal overdoses at this time last year, but this year we're at about 25. So the county is doing an excellent job of getting Narcan out to people, of addressing that so that people can survive overdoses. But it's not enough to just hand out Narcan. Treatment needs to be part of it. So expanding drug court to people with simple possession charges, with less backup time, that need more than once a week treatment, because the opiate addiction is something that is very, very difficult to overcome.
Are sentences, does a person maintain a conviction through drug court, or is there some other benefit in that regard?
They can get if they successfully complete the program. In every case, when you have your when you're sentenced, file a motion for reconsideration. And individuals, if they successfully complete drug court and then within 1 year can show through, whether it's a random urinalysis or something, that they've stayed clean for that 1 year, they will be given the opportunity to get a probation before judgment, which would allow them to eventually expunge their record and have a clean record.
Judge, I bet when somebody comes back on a reconsideration after successfully completing probation, it has to be a good feeling for you.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
hopefully you've had some successes like that where you can feel good about an individual.
I've been on the bench now long enough that I've had some reconsiderations where individuals have remained clean, and it is a wonderful feeling.
That's great. And Karen, what about future long-term assistance for graduates?
The program does look to have an alumni group. There is an alumni group that meets monthly. They encourage people to stay involved. We have several graduates who sponsor current participants and stay involved that way. They can come to the social events that the program coordinates. So there is, and the case managers contact them routinely.
Well, that's great. I want to thank you both very, very much for being here. Your perspectives are so unique, and I know our viewers will benefit from that. Unfortunately, we're out of time. I'd like to thank both of you, Karen Mooney and Judge Koch, for taking time to discuss drug court and the district court. If you want to know more about me, please visit my website at www.sandlerlawllc.com, or either of our guests. Please review the following websites: www.montgomerycountymd.gov/SAO for Karen Mooney, and for Judge Koch, www.montgomerycountymd.gov. Please let us know what you think about the show and what topics you would like to see covered in the future programs by emailing us at lawschoolforthepublic@gmail.com. Please join us for future shows in our Law School for the Public series, which explores various and timely legal topics. On behalf of the Montgomery County Bar Association, we look forward to being with you again. I'm Rini Sandler. Thank you.